This video is brought to you from Soundcore by Anker Indonesia. Just a few days back, I was invited to Soundcore product launch in Indonesia, and boy do we have some exciting stuff. But let me be clear from the start, I wrote my own script. Everything said is my own honest opinion. Soundcore by Anker Indonesia just sponsored the spot to be in this video and supported me in the way. So thank you so much Soundcore, and thank you for watching this video. And with that cleared, let's get started. Selamat pagi, good morning everyone, Kenneth here and welcome to my product showcase video. Today we're checking out the Soundcore P40i and V30i new releases under 50 bucks in Indonesia or a bit more in other markets. And make sure you watch till the end because we are featuring something pretty cool. But as always, if you want to buy anything, please use the affiliate links down in the description below. You'll help me support the channel at no extra cost to you. So let's get started with the main attraction, the Soundcore P40i. So in Amazon, this costs 70 bucks, but I'm sure with sales or lucky markets like Indonesia, you can get them for just 50 bucks. And I'm telling you, this is one heck of a deal because it's got everything you could ever ask, and then a freaking built-in phone holder. I know I will love this feature the moment I hear them, and yes, it does work as advertised with the caveat that you need to take the earbuds out first. So just briefly here, my iPhone 13 Pro Max with this Rhino Shield case is huge. I mean, almost 250 grams heavy, and the sheer size literally pushes every phone holders to their limits. The P40i takes it no problem. With the help of a rubber base, it stays solid even when you touch around, so other phones should be fine. And it's just really something I love about Soundcore, that is their little innovations matters. But let's go through the actual important stuff, and let's start with the sound quality, which was quite surprising out of the box. Like, everything is drowned in bass with a hint of sibilant treble, but worry not, since you can always EQ it out, and with this setting I recommend, this actually sounds pretty darn good. And you can always tweak it further to suit your taste. So listening to How Crazy by Yui, my custom EQ makes the P40i sound similar to my all-time favorite Soundcore Liberty 4 NC. Good details and sound staging too. And for the record, this is also similar to the Feel CC Pro 2, just with a bit more bass punch because we cannot really tweak anything below 100 Hz. But still, I can't believe how much the sound changed, and this is like 1,000 times better than the stock sound. Just keep in mind that the P40i is the bassiest of the bunch, so if a warmer sound is more of your thing, then you'll love it. Otherwise, it still works for most pop, even rock songs, but there are alternatives if you're looking for pure sound quality. Still though, fortunately, volume is very loud. I find even 50% indoors is a tad bit too loud, so you've got plenty of room to blast your music. Just, you know, stay safe. And in terms of build quality, this is Soundcore we're talking about, and it is amazing. The case is very compact. The lid is spring-loaded and shuts with a very solid thud. It holds 4 more charges, and it can do wireless charging as well. Is this really 50 bucks? Are they pricing it right? Then moving on to the earbuds, these feel very familiar. So they fit very nicely, doesn't hurt in a few hours time, and they hold 12 hours of playtime without ANC, or 10 hours with. I mean, this is still crazy to me, since just a few years back, these earbuds could only last 4 to 5 hours tops. But it doesn't stop there. We've got multi-point connection, Google Fast Pair, gaming mode, AI microphones, and ANC transparency as well. Most things can be set in the Soundcore app, including the controls where you can set 1, 2, 3 taps and hold gesture, which is just perfect. There's an audible feedback whenever you tap, which you can turn off if you want to, but I found them to be helpful if I know I tapped correctly. And as far as ANC goes, let's say this is close enough to the Liberty 4 ANC. Not quite there because the adaptive you see in the box only listens to the surrounding noise. If it's noisy, it's going to activate full ANC. If it's quiet, it'll put a little bit of ANC. So a total of 5 preset levels in the app, but don't get me wrong, this is amazing for 50 bucks. And my favorite feature is the auto wind noise reduction. both in ANC and transparency mode that you can turn on and just forget. And if you're walking around a lot, you're dealing with wind, this is gonna be a life changer. Now, speaking of transparency mode, there's no white noise involved, and when you're talking, the sound doesn't come out tinny. It's quite natural sounding, which I like, and a vocal mode in the app boosts the sound of people talking without affecting the general feel. Still a ways to go when it comes to releasing the in-ear pressure like the flagships do, but again, at this price, it's freaking amazing. I don't know how many times I said that already. Oh, and of course, you can use transparency with just one earbud, which is great. The only problem I have is with the sound effect when switching to ANC that cuts your music for a full 5 seconds, which is pretty jarring. Fortunately, switching to transparency didn't do the same thing, so this is something to keep in mind, and hopefully Soundcore can patch this up in future software update. Now let's talk about gaming mode, which you have to activate by the app as you cannot assign it to any of the touch controls. It's a shame, but the latency really goes down from 300 millisecond normal Bluetooth latency to around 200 or below. You can feel it in PUBG, but a big but here is it activates a special tuning to an ultra bassy and ultra compressed sound. And for me, who sometimes use gaming mode just to lower latency when playing videos, when paired to an older laptop, or even playing rhythm games, I don't want the sound to be changed, so it locks itself for shooter games but not much else. And the same principle goes with movie mode. It's a virtual surround effect, and I personally like to hear the source as it is, so it's there if you want it.
Alright, so here we are now with the Soundcore P40i, exact same situation as before. So what do you think of the sound quality? There's a 6 microphone in total, 3 in each ear. Does any good thing? Let me know down in the comments below. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you found the video helpful so far. And moving on to the second one, I'm always excited to see things trickle down in price. And in the open ear world, I think we've got a new budget champion here, and this is the Soundcore V30i. Straight to the point, this thing has no game mode, no multi-point or other fancy features, but I can say it sounds too good for just 40 bucks. I mean, my previous budget pick, this 60 bucks Soundpeats Go Free 2, doesn't even hold a candle against it. So firstly, volume is just as loud as most huff-in ears and open ears. You can use 50% indoors and 70% outdoors, so no problem there. But the sound signature, man, let's just talk with this insanely catchy new song, Magnetic by Eyelid. And the Soundcore V30i plays the bass beat so effortlessly, the vocals are nicely detailed, but the star of the show is definitely the soundstage. This separates the instruments so well. Almost feels like a headphone. Instead, it feels out of your head and literally unheard of in this price range. In comparison, the Soundpeats Go Free 2 feels like forcing the bass out in any way they can. It sounds thin and shrill, and I thought this was something we have to accept in this budget price range, which is why I'm so surprised by the V30i. And then compared to much more expensive open earbuds, this is still not as bassy as the One Audio Open Rock Pro, but the vocal presentation is better in my opinion, and the flagship AeroFit Pro feels like the V30i on steroids. More treble, more bass until it shakes your ear, but the thing is vocals are not as front and center anymore, and sound staging also tightens up, so I usually use my custom EQ to tune it in the direction of V30i, so they're doing something right here. Actually, I want to throw in some more comparisons with half-in ears, which I always regard as the superior version to open ears in terms of sound quality. Well, not anymore, I guess. In Event Horizon by Yona, the V30i easily tramples the Soundpeats Air 3 Deluxe HS, especially in the bass department. It just sounds fuller and more enjoyable overall. And compared to my best half-in-ear of all time, the Feel CC Nano, I think it's going head to head now, with Soundcore having a warmer sound and Feel with a more V-shaped sound, with more forward vocals too, but they are so good. Speaking of musical genres, I think this is a good all-rounder that will please the crowd. No matter if it's EDM, pop, acoustic, the V30i holds up very well, especially considering that it's an open ear, it fights with your surrounding noise. And I just want to highlight once again the soundstage, because in Wish You Well by Segala, you feel like the music is playing in a hall. And in other songs, you can hear a sound echo. It really is the widest soundstage I've ever heard in any open ears. Okay, if this all sounds too good to be true, Well, it actually is, because there's one quite big caveat you have to keep in mind. The maximum volume you're going to use this is 80% max. Anything above that and the bass won't be able to keep up anymore. Heck, even at 80%, I can hear distortion on the heaviest parts of bass. So there's a sweet spot here around 40 to 70%, and in that range, it really is a killer deal, and it's enough for most use cases. So now you know, and the choice comes back to you. Now, moving on to build quality, I have to admit this is where it feels like 40 bucks, especially the case. Despite having a matte black finish as usual, the lid is just pure plastic that lets out a plasticky thud when closed. There's only one LED telling you if the case has enough battery, and sadly, it's pretty easy to get scuff marks. Having said that, it's still a decent case. There's the useful pairing button at the back, and the lid is still easy to open, and it stays open. Another compromise you have to make is also the size. The case is quite chunky. Maybe not by thickness, because it is about the same as the Go Free 2 here, but it's very long. And that surprisingly takes up a lot of space in my sling bag or pockets. And that's largely because of the earbuds, where everything is contained in this pill-shaped module, and the rest of the ear hook is just a flexible hook. I have to say though, fit is not a problem at all, especially on the front side here where it curves backwards. It's now distant a bit so it doesn't touch my ear, and it starts to get uncomfortable after extremely long periods, let's say 6 to 8 hours of usage. But just a few hours, this does not feel like anything. So I love it. Not necessarily the look, but the overall fit is light and secure. And for an open ear, that is very important to get a good sound. Touching on the Soundcore app, here it's pretty basic. Just like any other open ears from Soundcore, you can customize the controls for 1, 2 taps and hold gestures, which is good enough. You have the ability to disable all touch controls. Let's say you're going to use it for sports. And you can also disable the touch tone like the P40i, but I prefer it to be on because it's pretty helpful. Oh, and by the way, all these earbuds are IPX5 rated, so you can use it for sports, sweats just fine. One thing I'm happy to report is when you decide to make your own custom EQ, the V30i doesn't lose any bass unlike the AeroFit Pro, and you tune it straight from the default EQ, so it's very easy to increase or decrease just the frequencies that you want. And finally, connectivity has been good despite not having multi-point, which is understandable considering the price. Touching on battery life, 12 hours on the earbuds and 2 more charges in the case. It's a typical open ear numbers, but a bit lesser on the case. To be honest, this is much better numbers compared to most half-in ears out there. And because of the ear hook, the fit is better. The sound is equally good now, and it doesn't cover your ear at all. I don't see a point why I would buy half-in ears anymore, except you want that sleek and discreet look.
Okay, so here we are now with the Soundcore V30i. What do you think of the sound quality? Does the AI microphones do anything good here? There's going to be something they cut when they lower the budget, right? But if it's good, then that's great.
Alright, last but not least, we're featuring the AeroFit Pro once again because it just launched in Indonesia. Back then it was only available in black, but now all the colors are available, including white, purple, and blue. I think these colors are fantastic, and it applies to Soundcore products in general. You've got color selections to choose from, and you know, this is their flagship open earbud, so there are crazy amounts of bass, and you get a neckband attachment and physical button, so you can be 100% sure that these buds are gonna stay put during your exercises, and you can keep it as a neckband because holding the button turns the earbuds on and off. I'll say it again, this is a much better buy compared to the bone conduction neckbands from Shocks, which has less battery, less versatility, and let's be honest, the sound quality of bone conduction is never a thing worth mentioning. So if you are in this market, I say get the AeroFit Pro instead. It's got multi-point connection or LDAC and head tracking spatial audio if you care about it, and hey, the microphone is nice as well. Let's check it out right now.
Last but not least, this is the Soundcore AeroFit Pro. This is what I've been using for the past couple of months doing my online meetings and stuff like that. It is really reliable, very comfortable to wear. Comment down below which one is your favorite.
So that's pretty much it for the video. I hope this video helped you out. Comment if you have any more questions, and do check out these videos. I'll link my AeroFit Pro showcase here and let YouTube suggest you another one. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kenneth. I'll see you in the next one.